Thank you so much for joining us today for our 35th annual Bug Fair. Can you believe it? 35 years. Time really does fly. For 35 years now, our museum has been hosting a bug fair to show you some of the amazing insect diversity that can be found right here in LA, as well as demonstrate how important insects are to maintain a healthy planet. This year is no different, as we're going to show off some amazing specimens from our collection, highlight entomologists from all over the world, and show you the tastiest way to eat a cricket. The best part is that this year, you get to watch it all from the comfort of your own home. Bug Fair programming will be streaming all day today, May 15th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. To see a full list of today's programs or to rewatch one you may have missed, please visit nhm.org/bugfair. If you wanted to view any of these programs with English or Spanish captions, please visit the link posted in the chat. We will also be using the chat function for Q&A, so if you have any questions at all, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and we'll try to answer them by the end of this 30-minute program titled A Ponding We Will Go. So, I don't want to bug you with too many details. Let's get to the program. When you think of bugs, what do you think of? Maybe you think about things that fly through the sky, like bees and butterflies. Or maybe you think about things that live in the dirt, like roly-polies. Yes, while all these animals are amazing and they all perform very important jobs, there is a very important group of bugs that I think is often very overlooked. I'm talking about, drumroll, aquatic insects, or the bugs that live their lives or part of their lives in the water. They can be found in just about any body of water, and they can teach us a whole lot. Aquatic insects are what we call bioindicators, meaning that we can use them to determine how healthy an ecosystem is based on what types and how many we have in an environment. We can learn a lot about the health of a habitat, like a pond, by the diversity or variety of life that shares that space. Usually, the more the merrier, which I think is really nice. The environment we're going to be looking at today is our very own Natural History Museum pond. So, today we're going to be giving you some hot tips on how to explore a pond to search for bug life in an activity we call ponding. Now, I know what you're thinking. Stephen, I don't even own a pond. How do you expect me to go ponding? Well, my friends, not to worry. In this program, we will be sharing different places in and around Los Angeles where you can get up close and personal with a pond. We're going to talk about some of the animals you may find there, and we're going to show you some of the things you may need to explore a pond like a scientist. So, without further ado, joining me this morning is our very own, the most amazing person ever, Rocio from Public Programs, and she is going to be showing you how to look through a pond. Take it away, Rocio.
And good morning, everyone, and happy Bug Fair to you all. My name is Rocio. I'm an educator here at the Natural History Museum, and today we're going to be learning about an activity called ponding. Now, ponding is an activity that we've done here in our own nature gardens in Bug Fairs past, and today I want to teach you guys the tips and tricks for being able to do this activity for yourselves when you're out exploring nature. By looking at this pond, think about the types of animals that may live around a pond. And now, think about the kinds of animals that may live in a pond. Ponding will give us an opportunity to look below the surface and see what organisms call this pond home. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you what tools you're going to need in order to do this activity. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. All right, so you will need the following tools in order to do ponding. You'll need a small net with tiny mesh. You'll need a small container for your critters. An insect guide, I've chosen insects of the Los Angeles basin. And a magnifier is optional, but it will let you be able to see animals a little bit closer. And another option is using a camera or your cell phone. First, we're going to fill up our container with just a little bit of water, just to make sure that the animals that we're going to be collecting are going to be safe and comfortable. And that should do it. Once the container is ready, take your net and slowly start to move it through the water. Move the net at different depths in the water. Start up high and then move down to the bottom. Move the net in a figure 8 and then gently nudge the rocks and plants in the water. These are good hiding places for tiny insects. After moving the net in the pond for some time, take the net and place it into your water container and gently nudge the contents out. Repeat this a few times. Although it may not look like it to you, when you glance at your net, tiny organisms are being scooped up. So be patient, and after a few scoops into the container, take your magnifier or just look with your eyes and see if you spot any movement. If you do spot movement, use a field guide to try and identify the critters you may have found, or you can snap a picture with your phone or camera and upload the image to iNaturalist. It's a free application that can help you document and identify nature. Once you're done observing the animals in your container, it's very important to safely return them to the pond. Take your container, get as close to the water surface as possible, and slowly pour the contents back into the pond. Be sure the container is empty of all animals. You may want to swish a little bit of water in there just to make sure. So now that you have the basics of ponding down, I'm going to send this program back over to Steven, and he's going to give you a closer look at some of the critters that happen to live in our Nature Gardens pond.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rocio. This morning, I went outside, I followed Rocio's every direction, I gathered my scientific supplies, and I actually went downstairs and collected my very own ponding sample from the Nature Garden pond. So, we're going to spend the next couple of minutes looking through that sample to see what types of insects we might find. As a reminder, if you have any questions about ponding whatsoever or anything you see, please go ahead and put those in the chat and we can get to them by the end of the program. So let's take a look at some of the animals we caught on our amazing ponding cam. Alrighty. All right, folks, so here we are at the ponding cam. And as you can see, it's a little messy in here. But let's see what types of animals we can find. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly move my spoon around and see if we see any movement at all. And if we do, that's probably something that's alive. So this variety of, oh, there's something. Where did it go? Alrighty. Ooh, that was big. Whoa, amazing. What is this thing? Alrighty, folks, can we see this here? There we go. All right, so first things first, every time I find something when I'm ponding, I like to do the insect test. And the insect test is pretty simple and straightforward. All we do is we count the legs. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs. 5 legs on this animal. But I see 3 legs on one side and 2 legs on the other. Most animals have some sort of symmetry, bilateral symmetry. So I'm assuming that this little critter may have just lost the leg somewhere along the line. That's okay, though. When it molts, it'll probably grow something back. So this right here is actually a dragonfly larva, which is amazing. Isn't that cool? So we call dragonfly larvas nymphs. A nymph is a little baby dragonfly. And believe it or not, as cute as this thing is, it's actually a super deadly lethal predator, believe it or not. Yeah, so they have this really cool bottom lip that actually shoots forward and snatches on a prey. So you could imagine if you're really hungry and there's a chicken nugget that's floating like a foot in front of your face. Imagine not having to lift a finger. You just stretch your lip out, you grab onto that chicken nugget, and you bring it right back to your mouth. You start eating. These things are pretty incredible. Really cool predators. They'll eat pretty much anything that's smaller than them. We have nothing to fear. We're way bigger than them. But, I mean, you know, they'll eat anything. They'll eat small fish if they can catch them. They'll eat tadpoles. They'll eat other bugs. They'll eat each other. These animals are pretty cool. Let's see what more we can find. Go, be free, have fun. Let's see. So I found this today. This is actually the exoskeleton of a dragonfly nymph. So, you know, butterflies undergo complete metamorphosis. They start off as an egg, a caterpillar, they turn into a chrysalis, and then they emerge as a butterfly. Dragonflies have incomplete metamorphosis. So they start off as an egg, and then they emerge as a nymph, one of these things, but much, much smaller. And then they go through several instars. So they keep shedding their skin, and every time they do that, they get a little bit bigger until eventually they'll emerge as a dragonfly. So this right here is just the skin of an animal. It's just the exoskeleton, but let's see, I actually caught one this morning. They're really good at hiding. Oh, there it is. Can we see it? Yeah, so these animals are really good at camouflage, but I found you. There we go. Woo, see that? It's a big one. Yeah, so this is a dragonfly nymph. What do you notice? Well, first and foremost, let's do our insect test. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. Yes, this is indeed an insect. Really cool. What do you notice about it? It's hard to tell, but it's actually covered in some algae. So really good for hiding on the bottom of a pond floor, really good for camouflage and sneaking up on your prey. And then before you know it, they'll shoot out that bottom lip and snatch whatever they want to eat. Ooh, I see some more movement. So, okay, say bye, bye. Put this one back. What more can we find? I see some very slow movement right here. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. Oh, let me use my finger. Sorry, friend. Alrighty, folks. So this thing was moving very slowly just a second ago. Let's do our insect test. How many legs do we count? Not a single leg on this thing, right? No legs. But what do you notice? I see a shell, and I see a little soft body. This is a little tiny freshwater snail. Isn't it cute? Yeah, so freshwater snails are super helpful and really great for pond health. They'll just scoot along the bottom of a pond, and they're called scrapers. So they'll scrape up algae, and they'll make sure that the pond doesn't get too murky and full of algae. And when they do that, they actually keep the algae at a healthy level so that it can continue to produce oxygen for us. So thank you, freshwater snail, for being so helpful. Really cool. Amazing. Okay, now let's get rid of you. Bye, friend. What more can we see? Oh, I see a little baby dragonfly nymph. See that? Another really cute one. What do you notice here? It's much smaller than the bigger one, right? But it looks exactly the same. So this is why we call it incomplete metamorphosis. They don't really change much. They just kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until they become a dragonfly. Very cute. Lots of dragonflies in here. There's lots of predators in this pond. What more can we find? As a reminder, this is the sample of life that we found here at the Nature Garden pond. The pond you might go to may have a completely different sample of life. Each pond is going to be different, and that's going to clue us in to the environment and how all these animals are living together. So I'm finding lots of predators in here, and that might be because we have lots of really yummy things to eat in our pond. We have little tiny fish that dragonfly nymphs love to eat. We have other insects that dragonflies love to eat. And we also have a bunch of dragonflies because we have a bunch of babies here. Let's see it. Oh, here's something. Something new. Ooh. You see that? First and foremost, let's do the insect test. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. And if you look closely, you can see that the eyes of this animal are on either side of its head. And it has 3 little tails on its back. So these are all clues that this right here is actually a damselfly nymph. So damselflies and dragonflies are very closely related. Damselflies are also expert predators with, oh, look at, oh, I thought I was going to eat that thing. There's like a little bug also in there. Oh, swim away. Yeah, so they're also expert predators with an extending lower lip that they use to snatch their prey. And these animals are also able to put water in their abdomen, the backside of them back here. And then, oh yeah, there's my finger for scale. This thing's little. They put water in their abdomen, and then you could actually shoot it out. And that pushes them forward, which is pretty amazing. You could give them like a real quick burst of speed to catch prey or to run away from something that might eat it, like a fish, a bigger fish. Whoa, is that better? Yeah, these are really cute. Also, you might notice that the eyes are on either side of its head. That's also a clue that this is a damselfly nymph. Dragonfly eyes usually wrap around their whole head. Damselflies have eyes on either side of their head. So I'm going to let you go. Have fun. Enjoy. And we are going to let all these animals back. Oh, here's another one. We are going to put them all back in the pond when we're done here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This one's bigger. Yeah, you can see the tails better on this one. See, 1, 2, 3 tails. I believe this right here is a damselfly nymph as well. Look at him go! Look at him go! Very, very, very cute. What more can we find? Also, some away. Also, I kind of cleaned up the sample to make sure that everyone could see what we have going on here. When you go ponding, it's probably going to be much more muddy than this because bugs like to hang out in the mud. So this is some Hollywood ponding right here. We cleaned it up. What's this? This is a leaf. Do we see anything more? What more can we find? No, there's more in here. Oh, what's this? Oh, this thing's pretty big. It's upside down. There we go. Yeah, so this is another dragonfly nymph. And it looks different than that bigger dragonfly nymph. Might be a different species of dragonfly. There's tons and tons and tons of different kinds of dragonflies. Dragonflies and damselflies both belong to the same family. They're called Odonata. So pretty closely related. So they have lots of similarities between them. You might notice them as we look and compare this one to the damselfly. They both have that long body, and they both have those tails at the end. Pretty neat. Those tails are actually external gills. So they kind of work like a fish's gills. They filter out oxygen so that they could breathe. Really cool. I'm going to put you back. Yeah, we definitely made sure to put some leaves and ponding stuff in here just so everything can hide and feel nice and comfy. Yeah. So I know that this stuff may be kind of difficult to see on our, little ponding cam here. So in preparation for that, we actually prepared some larger images of some common aquatic insects so you can better identify them when you go ponding yourself. So we have a slideshow. Let's take a look at it. Amazing. Like I said earlier, lots of animals start off their lives in the water, like dragonflies. We call their larvae or their little babies nymphs, and they're really cool. Let's do the insect test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 legs. So this is definitely an insect. They don't have wings yet. They're completely aquatic at this point, but they will grow them eventually. So let's see that next slide. Alrighty, so this right here is a dragonfly nymph molt, like the one that I found that was floating on the surface of our ponding sample. So this is the outer layer of skin, the outer exoskeleton that a young dragonfly has outgrown. So you know how when you're young and you buy a pair of shoes, and then a month later your feet grow and those shoes are just too tight and you need to buy a new pair? Same exact thing happens with dragonflies, not with shoes, but with their exoskeleton. As they eat and eat and eat and grow, they get too big for their exoskeleton and they have to really shed it off and leave it behind. So every time they lose an exoskeleton, scientists call that an instar. Eventually they get so big, they actually crawl out of the water like this. And they usually hang out on a piece of plant. And then they emerge from their exoskeleton one more time. But this time when they come out, they have fully formed wings and they're a dragonfly. Kind of reminds me of when a butterfly comes out of a chrysalis. So on the next slide, we have a picture of a dragonfly. There they are, dragonflies, pretty cool creatures. You may see them like flying around like this, zigzagging all over a body of water. When they're doing that, they're actually hunting. So they're looking around, seeing what they could find. They're expert aerial hunters, just like their babies. Well, their babies are aquatic hunters. But they eat things like mosquitoes and things that I don't like. I mean, mosquitoes have their place, I guess. Yeah. Let's look and see what's next. Cool. So right here we have a water strider. Very cool. Whatever body of water you go to, you'll probably find something like this, a water strider. Very common in California. They're an excellent source of food for fish and other animals, and they walk on water, which is amazing. They have long legs that distribute their weight, and those legs are actually covered in little tiny hairs that trap air to keep them afloat on the water's surface. And right next to it, we have a back swimmer, another animal you might see swimming around the surface. They literally just float on their back all day. Doesn't that sound nice? They use those long legs that you see as oars so they can push themselves through the water like this. So if you're a rower or if you've ever been in a rowboat, you have a little bit in common with a back swimmer. Let's see what's next. The damselfly nymph. I love damselfly nymphs. I think they're super cute and also extremely cool predators. Like I said, they're closely related to dragonflies, so they're also expert predators with that extending mouth hook that it's really cool. And you also notice those 3 long tails at the bottom. Those are, like I said, external gills. So they use their gills to filter oxygen out of the water like a fish. They just wiggle them back and forth, or they suck up water from their abdomen and they push it out over their gills. So really neat. And then right next to it, we have a mayfly nymph. So mayfly nymphs are also amazing, not predators, but detritivores, like a roly-poly. So a detritivore eats detritus. What's detritus? Detritus is dead organic material. So they eat things like dead leaves, plant material, moss that's growing in the pond, and they just swim around and they eat it up. And by doing that, they're keeping our pond clean, right? Because imagine a pond with just tons and tons and tons of dead leaves in it. Not very nice. Thank you, mayfly nymphs, for keeping our ponds nice and clean and clear. Let's see what's on the next slide. All right, so here we have a cool list of spots that you can visit if you wanted to go ponding for yourself. All of these locations were pulled from the book Wild LA. So if you wanted to pick up that book, there are some really cool resources here. Feel free to take a screenshot of this list so you can know exactly where to go when you wanted to go ponding. And again, if you cannot get a screenshot right now, that is a-okay. This whole list will live on nhm.org/bugfair. So folks, as we've seen, we can learn a lot about the health of a habitat like a pond by the diversity of life that shares that space. Bugs are one of just many creatures that call ponds home, and they have very important jobs, from pest control to decomposers to even being food for other animals. Fish eat bugs, songbirds eat bugs, even hummingbirds feed their babies bugs. So, all very important jobs. We hope that this has inspired you to go ponding and see the bugs and other biodiversity that may live in a pond near you. And if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I can definitely help answer some of those now. Let's see. Oh, so we have a question from Cornelia. Do bugs in the pond change with the season? Like, do we find different bugs in summer and winter? Absolutely, Cornelia. Bugs in the pond do change with the season. Springtime's a great time to find a bunch of little dragonfly nymphs in the pond. When it gets a little colder, the nymphs will actually stop growing for a while and they'll just kind of hang out and not eat very much because they're a little chilly. But springtime is a great time to find lots of nymphs swimming around. And then they emerge as dragonflies in the spring too. So you might find them closer to the surface. I know wintertime, if you have sitting water or like a place with water that's not moving around a lot, mosquitoes might start living there. So, it's a good idea to have some kind of predator or pest control. Maybe introduce some dragonflies and they'll just chow down your mosquito problem. Or some little fish. Fish love to eat mosquito larvae. Let's see. Oh, can you tell us how water shoots out of the damselfly? How does it shoot out of the water and from where? That's a great question. So, okay, so let's say this is the head of the damselfly and this is the back part and the little tails are back here, right? The damselfly will actually suck up water through its abdomen and just push it back out. It kind of reminds me of like an octopus. When they suck up water underneath them, they go. That's pretty much what they do, which is pretty fascinating. Like I said, it'll help them avoid predators and being eaten by fish and other things. Very useful, I'm sure. Huh. Why don't bugs have bones? From Lydia. That's a great question. Bugs do not have bones because they just didn't evolve that way. They've evolved differently. We have bones because we are vertebrate, so we have a spine. Bugs have a really, really cool exoskeleton. So they have really hard structure that kind of keeps all their soft and gushy parts protected. So they don't really need bones. They have an outer layer of armor that protects them and gives them structure. That's a great question. Nicole asked, do bugs hide in winter? Yeah, absolutely bugs hide in winter, and even when it's cold. So if you come visit the butterfly pavilion, sometimes even in the mornings when it's a little chilly out, the butterflies, they're not going to be very active. They really need the sunlight to kind of generate energy to move around. The warmth helps them move around. So yeah, in the winter, if they're not moving as quickly, they may want to just tuck away and hide so that they don't get eaten. What's the coolest bug you found in the pond? And how do dragonflies go from swimming to flying? That's a great question. The coolest bug I found in the pond, one time I found a flatworm, which is really cool. It's not, I guess, yeah, a flatworm. So they're just flat worms, as you could guess. But the cool thing about flatworms is that they're actually covered in stem cells. So I don't recommend this. I do not recommend this. But if you chop them into like 4 pieces, each of those pieces will grow new heads and new tails, and it'll become 4 different animals, which is amazing, right? I've never done it because I love bugs. I'm an ally, but scientists do it, and it's interesting. Let's see. Oh, and you also asked, how do dragonflies go from swimming to flying? That's a great question. Kind of the same way that a caterpillar goes from being a caterpillar to being a butterfly. So they live their life, most of their life in the water, swimming around, hunting, really good predators. And when they're hunting, they're gaining nutrients and they're gaining the ability to actually develop wings underneath their exoskeleton. So the wings form underneath the first exoskeleton. And then when they're ready, oh, I actually have a cool thing. So when they're ready, they will climb out onto a little piece of plant material. Can we see this? No? So this right here, that little bump right there, is actually a dragonfly nymph molt. So you can't really see it very well. That's actually better, huh? Like further back. Anyways, so they'll climb up onto a stick or onto a piece of plant that is floating in the water, and they will latch on and they will kind of emerge like a chrysalis. So when they emerge, they have their fully formed wings and they're ready to fly and become aerial hunters. So you can kind of think about it like when a caterpillar grows wings and becomes a butterfly, except these don't go through a chrysalis stage. They just hatch out already a dragonfly. Very fascinating and great questions, folks. Thank you so much. Let's see. Well, thank you for joining us this morning for Ponding, everybody. We hope that you enjoyed the first of many bug-filled online programs today. We here at the museum definitely miss seeing all of you here at Bug Fair, and I know that each and every one of us miss our amazing Bug Fair exhibitors. No Bug Fair is complete without these amazing individuals and organizations, many of whom have been part of this event for over 30 years. I mean, that's older than I am. Our exhibitors range from face painters to educational toy makers. They sell insect specimens and even pinwheels. We'd like to give you a shout out here at Bug Fair Connected by allowing them a chance to say hello. So let's hear from one of them now.
Hi everyone, it's Julie Henry from Hand-Eye Coordination. I've had so much fun participating in the last 25 of the 35 bug fairs, selling educational toys such as butterfly nets, bug boxes, and cool critters like this to kids and bug lovers of all ages. Happy virtual bug fair!
Thank you, Julie. That was amazing. So folks, there's more to come with Bug Fair Connected. Coming up next at 10 a.m., we have Sing, Move, Play with our performing arts team. As a special treat for Bug Fair, we're sharing this members-only program with each and every one of you. So tune back in to catch it live at 10 o'clock. Don't forget to see a full list of today's programs. Please visit nhm.org/bugfair. And that's about it, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to think before you squish. Bye.